Oh, hey guys, I'm just about to start an oil change. Come on, I'll show you how it's done. Before we get started, you'll need to figure out which type of oil and filter that you'll need for this job. This means choosing between conventional or synthetic oil, as well as looking at the weight and viscosity type. For example, I'm using conventional 10W30 motor oil. Also, the correct oil filter must be chosen. Both of these can be found out through your owner's manual or local auto parts store. Okay, so the first step is to drive the truck up onto the ramps. Next, we can block off the back tires. Also put on my emergency brake just in case. Okay, so now it's time to remove the drain plug and drain the oil. But there is sort of a life hack I've come up with. So if you take like a Powerade bottle and cut it in half and then screw it on the inside of one of these empty containers that you might have, it makes life a whole lot more easier when draining the oil. But the way my filter is positioned, I'm pretty much going to have to use a drain pan for it. So now we'll get our oil drain, whatever we're using, either this or a pan, and then we can undo this plug. I'm using a 5/8 socket with a ratchet, and you may also want to have some sort of a breaker bar just in case. And now we wait. Pretty much want to wait at least until it's to about a drip. I'll wait a pretty long time until it's almost not dripping at all, but it's up to you. While I'm waiting on the oil to drain, I'm going to go ahead and take my oil filter wrench and ratchet and extension and possibly breaker bar and go ahead and get the old oil filter off. So I'm going to position the drain pan where it's underneath the oil filter. Place the wrench on, then crack it loose. Pretty messy. Okay, so now we can pull out this old stuff. Also want to make sure that we got the gasket with it. There it is, right there. Because you don't want to have a double gasket on there. So next we'll just take our new filter and then a little bit of new oil. Just a little bit, maybe a little more than that. Just a little bit. And rub it on the new gasket. Because if you don't, then as the engine heats up, it could glue this gasket to the engine. Also, since my filter is sort of like at an angle like this, I'm going to put a little bit of oil in there. I know some cars are like this, and you really just can't put any oil in. So now we're going to screw the filter on hand tight. No more than that. About that much. Alright, it's pretty much done dripping. So we'll go ahead and put back in the drain plug. Make sure not to cross thread. Okay. Now we'll take our ratchet and 5/8 socket and tighten up this drain plug until it's snug. Right there. Alright, so we're pretty much done underneath the truck, so we can go ahead and just get everything out from underneath. So now you may ask, well, how much of the new oil do we need to add now? How do we know how much to add? Well, the second benefit to filling up an old container with the old oil is that we can see here that we have to add at least a little bit over 4.5 quarts, plus a little bit in the pan, so probably closer to 5 quarts at the least. But this method relies on the oil level being in the safe zone on the dipstick. Okay, so now we can open the hood so that we can add some oil. Alright, now we can locate where we're going to fill up the oil, which is right here on this Dodge Ram. So now we'll just take off the oil cap. And I was going to use this filter, but since it's a little unsteady, it doesn't set right. I just cut off the top of an old water bottle, and it fits perfect in there, so I'm just going to use that. So since we need about 5 quarts, I'm just going to go ahead and add this whole 5-quart oil jug, and we will go from there. Okay, so now I'm going to put the cap back on, and we will start the truck up and check for leaks. We'll just look underneath, maybe shine a flashlight, and if you see any drops coming down, that means something's leaking. So, and if you hear some knocking, then that's fairly normal. I mean, that's just the oil getting where it needs to be, and may need to add a little bit of oil. We'll check here in a second. Alright, so we'll just let it sit for about 5 minutes.
1 eternity later.
Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, so we can check the oil level. I also want to point out, the way I have my ramp set up, my truck is completely level, or very close to it. And so whenever you want to check your oil level, you want to keep it at a level position to get an accurate reading. Appears to be in the safe zone on here. I don't know if you can tell, but... Yep. I may add some more later since my truck burns a whole lot of oil anyway, and probably has enough room for another 1/2 quart or so. While under the hood, you may also want to keep an eye on things such as your power steering fluid, your brake fluid level, or your transmission fluid level. Alright, so now I'm just going to take the chokes out from behind the tires and back the truck down the ramps, and then I think that's it. Don't forget about your emergency brake, by the way. That's why I wasn't going anywhere for a second. Also, take note of your mileage and your old oil and oil filter. You should be able to take to your local auto parts store, and they should take it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. And it's getting a little dark now, so I guess I'm gonna head inside. Take care.